My name is Paul. I'm an accounting major, and I'm going into my senior year here at KU. I'm currently interning at the FDIC. I actually learned about this internship from my wife's uncle. It was actually before my wife and I were married, but he told me about it, and it sounded like something that I was interested in, and he thought it was something that I would be interested in and be able to do well in. So I applied and was lucky enough to get the position. The application process was actually pretty normal. I filled out an application, I submitted it to the Kansas City Human Resources head, and I included my resume and waited to hear back about a potential interview. I was called within a couple of weeks about doing an interview. I interviewed twice. I did an in-person interview at the Kansas City office, and then I also did a phone interview. After I did the phone interview, it was probably a week or two later that I found out that they wanted to hire me. And because the FDIC is a government position, after I was offered the position is when it got a little more complicated. I had to do a very, very thorough background check where they sent letters to my family, to the job that I was working with currently, some of my former neighbors, to verify that I lived where I said that I lived. And so it was a pretty intense background check process. Luckily, I passed. Not that I didn't have any concerns, but you never know what the government's going to find out. After I went through the background check information, I was able to officially get offered the position. And once I accepted it, I had to fill out a contract signed by me, a representative here at KU, and by my supervisor at the FDIC to make my hiring official. Now that I'm hired and I work for the FDIC, my main responsibility is to learn and be familiar with federal banking regulations to the point where I can review them on site at different banks from week to week. With federal banking regulations, there's kind of two main areas. One is with deposits, one is with lending. My main area of responsibility is with the deposit regulations, though I do work with some of the lending regulations. They get a little more complicated, and so that's why I'm more with the deposits that are not quite as complicated and a little more simple to deal with. The best aspect of the internship is that I'm really treated like an employee, like a regular full-time employee. I am given responsibility like a full-time employee would be. I fill out my time card like a regular employee. I get regular employee benefits. And everybody that I work with treats me as if I'm an equal, and they don't treat me any different. And I really enjoy that and the camaraderie there. Any advice that I would have to a KU student looking for an internship is to do it. If you can find an internship, it's such good experience. I hope to end up working with the FDIC full-time, and I'll have every opportunity to do so. But even if I end up having to work for another company, then I will have such good experience and such a good resume building experience here with the FDIC, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. It's such a good opportunity to learn, grow, and gain additional skill that will make you even more marketable after you graduate.